You sit down at your computer, open up the blog, going to publish an article today, except what do you write about? Sometimes it's kind of hard to figure out topics. Sure, you could crank up the old keyword research and spit out a bunch of topics and hit one of those, but sometimes you want to do something different, unique, make your website stand out, or you could apply some methods to turn what keyword research into an actually interesting article. Today I want to talk about one approach to come up with interesting content ideas for your blog, and I do this quite a bit on all my websites, including Fat Sex. And that is to write about you. It's actually fun. You are the expert, and if you apply your life to various topics, to any topic really, it's going to be good. It's going to be a certain level of expertise about it, and you're going to enjoy writing it. So, how do you do that? Well, first off, let's take a look at the four main purposes of content. That is, articles on your site. Some content is going to inform. In fact, probably most of it on the web is designed to inform people about something. A closely related purpose would be educates. I'm sure there's some distinction between the two, but really I suppose educating content is very similar to informing. Another type of content is humorous. It's funny, satirical. And lastly, there's entertainment, just pure entertainment, just good old fun content. Sometimes it could be all of them, all four, sometimes just one. It doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, your content's going to do one or more of those. So how do you apply you as the overarching topic to an article? Well, it's actually pretty easy. And in fact, you could probably publish an entire massive website with this approach. I do it a lot. I apply it to a lot of my content. So let's rip through a few examples. All right. So first off, the intros. Okay, a great way to intro an article, even if you outsource, if you get the main body of an article from writers that you hire, you can make your intro much better very, very quickly simply by adding a few sentences or a couple of paragraphs that take your experiences and you apply it to the topic. It doesn't take long. It's your experiences. You probably rip it off the top of your head in a few minutes, but you're going to make a much better introduction to your article. Another way you could do it is just think of experiences. You can pretty much take any experience you've had, be it a travel experience, funny things that have happened to you, big purchases you've made, your work life, job, career, school, going out to eat, events, whatever. Think of experiences and apply it to one of your articles. I mean, you could take a travel article and apply it to any type of niche. Let's say you're in the tech gadget niche and you want to do a series on smartwatches, and you have a few and you like using them. Well, certainly you can apply, I don't know, maybe a trip you've gone on where your smartwatch came in super handy. That could be a basis for a good article. Well, beyond experiences, there's also reviews. This is really easy. You don't have to just make up reviews, which I think is a terrible practice. A much better approach would be to go out and buy products that you're going to review and try them in your niche. And if you're in your niche for the long run, it's probably good to get familiar with products if you're going the product review route. But another option, if you don't want to buy it, is just look around your house and review products you have and that you use and that you like or maybe don't like. Just, really seriously take a look. You probably own a lot of stuff. Most of us do. And there's got to be a few things in there you get started with. Other things you can review are stores that's related to your niche. Even if it's a local store, write about it. It's pretty easy to do. Services, whether they're online services, local services, often you can apply all types of services to many different niches. The same thing with stores. I do the whole store thing quite a bit. If I frequent a store and it applies to my niche, even if it's a local store, doesn't have to be a big chain or a national outlet or anything like that. If it's just a local store, I'll write about it. I get some local traffic, which is great. Traffic is traffic at the end of the day. Another approach is software. I love writing about software. I think most niches have some software angle, especially these days. Let me just give you a really smart tip here, and this could be a lot of traffic. Apps. Think apps, okay? There are apps for everything, every niche, pretty much. So you could research, download, try apps. Most of them are free. Some may cost you a few bucks, but I mean, you could create articles about apps endlessly in pretty much any niche in some form or another. I mean, it could be an entire website, really. And there are websites dedicated to it. And believe me, they get a lot of traffic because here's the thing, right? I download apps, so I think we all do if we have a smartphone. I'm pretty judicious. I don't want to load my phone up with a bunch of apps I'm never going to use. So I don't really want to go through the hassle of downloading apps. I'd actually rather read a couple of articles that list out some apps relevant to what I'm looking for before I take the time to download it or spend $2, $3, $5 on the app. Because then I got to try it and then I've got to delete it if I don't like it, try something else. If I read somebody else and they say, oh, if this is what you want to do, smart app for XYZ, this is the best one and it's free and it's great, it does everything I want it to do. Okay, great. It's just made my search a lot easier. So if you take anything from this video, take the idea of writing about apps or listing apps or reviewing apps or anything pertaining to the topic of your website. It's really, really a good way to get a lot of traffic. There's not a lot of competition for a lot of them. I mean, some apps obviously probably, fitness and health apps. Everybody writes about those, but there's so many more you could go after. Software is also broader. You've got cloud software. Not every niche is going to have cloud software options, but many do, and you'd be surprised if you actually took a look. Moving on, another type where you can apply you as the expert to the article are opinion pieces, and these can be fun. All right, you can be creative, you can have fun. You've got an opinion about something. It can be about a recent news article that's relevant to your niche. It could be a political issue. It could be a product line or a new product or anything. Have an opinion about it and write about it. Just, of course, write it good. Support your arguments. Explain why you believe the way you do or you opine the way you do, and make a fun article about it. You can be controversial. That can maybe get you a lot of engagement. So let's say, let's return to the smartwatch example again. Maybe you have a few, you've used them, and you're going back to old school watch. You don't like the smartwatch. You have problems with it. You don't like the fact you got to charge it every couple days or every day. You don't like the fact that you get all these notifications and you find it bothersome, whatever. There could be a lot of reasons you don't like the smartwatch. You can write an article about that. You could say, hey, I think smartwatches are totally overrated. I ditched mine. I went back to just a regular old battery-powered watch, and write an article about that. And you can do that with so many products and services. And, just be careful, though. You got to be careful. You're gonna, smartwatches is a product line, right? You're not outing a particular company. You're not saying, oh, I hate the Sony smartwatch, and this is why. I mean, you may not like it, but I tend to not go that way. I don't single out individual brands or products just because I just don't really see that there's a need for that. I particularly would worry about them issuing some sort of lawyer-generated letter and making some accusations or allegations. They don't need that hassle. But you could talk about it more broadly like a product line, right? So that's pretty easy. I mean, nobody's singled out when you say, hey, I don't like smartwatches. No company can come after you and say, well, this is total nonsense. They're just not going to do that. And finally, the Listicle. Listicles are popular still, even in the age of post-Facebook reach. Listicles were really big then, of course, when Facebook would pretty much distribute all of your content to everyone, but no longer. However, listicles are still very popular on the web. In fact, they can rank very well on Google. You add a number to something and list out and do decent write-ups for each item in the list, you can potentially pull in a lot of traffic. I do tons of listicles. I like doing them. I like researching them. I try to make them as helpful as I possibly can. They end up being fairly long articles. I think they're often either helpful or entertaining, and if I'm really good, both. So you could apply yourself and your experiences to listicles very easily. I mean, you could, going back to smartwatches, your favorite smartwatches. Maybe you've tried several and you have 5 that you really, really like, and they may all be quite different, but you really like them for specific reasons. So go to your favorite smartwatch apps for to-do lists or something like that. Really, really narrow down and write about it, get really specific. But anyways, listicles alone, applied to your own life and experiences, can create lots of content in any niche. So the point here is, when you write about you and your experiences and your opinions and your purchases and your businesses that you frequent and software that you use or software that you research, you are the expert. And that's great because you don't need credentials, you don't need any certifications. You have an opinion and it matters, and people do care about opinions. I mean, Amazon customer reviews are enormously popular. Many people use them for any purchase, small purchases, big purchases. They comb through them. And most of those people, I'd say 99.99%, they don't have any sort of expert credentials or schooling that qualifies them to write reviews. No, they are a customer. They bought the product, they used the product, and they liked it for XYZ reasons, or they didn't like it for XYZ reasons. And that matters, and that's persuasive, and we like it, we appreciate it, and the same applies to you. And write about yourself, your own experiences, and have fun. It is fun. It's a lot more fun. It's a lot easier, too. I can crank out a 3,000-word article when it's applied to something I've done or used or places that I've gone to. I can crank these out very, very quickly. I definitely do additional research and I add more information to it, but the main foundation of the entire article is based on my experiences, and it usually turns out quite good. At the end of the day, if you're not really into any of this, I do encourage you to at least apply some of your personal experiences into your introductions to your articles, because they are quickly engaging. People like to read about someone's personal experience with whatever a topic may be right out of the gates. It might get them interested in the article and hopefully improve your user experience metrics on your site. Thanks for watching.